Minute News. Hello, welcome to Minute News. I am not a newt. My name is not Newt, but you can call me Newt. So I got this quick story here, and first of all, this person was arrested for child diddling. I in no way, regardless of what my comments coming up in this story, I in no way support that, and I definitely agree that he deserved at least 105 years in prison. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. So this is on 93.1 FM WIBC website. I want to give them credit. Ex-Yorktown school nurse and pastor gets 105 years in prison on molestation charges. Muncie, Indiana, a former pastor and school nurse has been sentenced to more than 100 years in prison for molesting children. Brian Couch received a sentence of 105 years in prison on Wednesday, according to Delaware County Prosecutor's Office. During Wednesday's hearing, one of Couch's victims testified she said the sexual molestation began when she was 6 years old and happened repeatedly. And it goes on, charged with 3 counts of molesting, fondled 3 girls when they visited home between 2012 and 2016. Couch was a pastor for several years at the Yorktown Church of the Nazarene. Until his arrest, he was also a school nurse. Prosecutors asked for Couch to receive 150 years in prison. He received a 105-year prison sentence. Couch took a plea agreement, pleading guilty to 3 felony counts of child molestation, receiving a 35-year sentence in the Indiana Department of Corrections for each. Now, my question is this. Okay, apparently he knew they had him dead to rights. He was going to jail. Fine, I understand it. Prosecutors asked for 150 years. He made a plea deal and pled it down to 105 years. What? Why? So this guy, they don't say how old he is, but looking at him, I mean, at the youngest, I would say he would have to be at least mid-40s. At least. And I'm thinking there's an excellent chance that he could be mid-50s. I don't think late 50s, but, you know, people look younger now than they used to. So it's entirely possible. You know, he's led an indoor life, pastor, school nurse, yeah. So he's got, I mean, realistically, looks kind of chunky. Realistically, his lifespan is going to be probably about 40 more years, and that's giving him the benefit if he's mid-40s. There's an excellent chance it could be only 25 to 30 years. He's got a 105-year prison sentence. So it is virtually impossible that he's going to live 105 years. Period, exclamation point, no freaking way. Best case scenario. Best case, he can live to be a little over 100. So at maximum, he's got 50 years ahead of him. That's assuming he doesn't get killed in prison, which is a pretty decent possibility, honestly. And I'm thinking as a kid diddler in prison, he's going to have a lot of stress in his life. There are going to be a lot of people that don't like him. There may be even people that try and do him injury. Shocking. Anyway, so the thing is that getting the charge knocked down from 150 years to 105 years, how much good does that do him? I mean, if he spends, okay, so maybe he's thinking, okay, well, I'll get off for time for good behavior. I mean, what's the best? I mean, he's not going to be eligible for parole for a long time, probably at least 35 years with that kind of sentence. You know, a third of his sentence he's probably going to have to serve, unless they're serving, you know, unless they send him to him, unless he does his time concurrently, you know, 35 years on each of the 3 charges. But still, I mean, 35 versus 50 years, that's still he's going to be pushing 80 or maybe mid 80s by the time or late 80s by the time he gets out. And I guess maybe he figured that's better than being in prison until he's 100, but hopefully maybe he decided that, rather than have these kids come on the stand and have to testify to everything that he did, that he would be just own up to it and take it. But I just don't understand the whole, I'll plead guilty and I'll only get a 105-year sentence. But regardless, there's a story. I think that he's going to get his comeuppance, if you'll pardon the terminology. And I just want to insert this, that I did find some additional information about this gentleman when the charges were actually filed in late 2019. At that time, Brian Couch was 55. Initially, he was charged with 9 counts of child molesting, including 5 Class A felonies carrying a maximum 50-year prison term and 3 Level 1 felonies carrying prison terms up to 40 years. So that's 390 years. So, but still, I mean, he's only going to live to be 70, 80, 90, 100. He's not going to live to be 150 years. So that 105 years is going to make a difference versus almost 400 years. But I still wanted to include that. And also in here, I did find charges filed, $300 bond, Class C felony, carrying up to 8 years in prison, sexual misconduct with a minor, level 4 felony with 12-year minimum sentence. And there was a bunch of stuff. So Couch was preliminarily charged with 28 counts of child molesting and 1 count of rape. And then they were whittled down to what he ended up pleading guilty to. And apparently his wife was also arrested. I just wanted to include that information. And his wife was 54. And somewhere it says that she learned of his crimes last November and briefly considered reporting it, but instead gave her husband a set of rules which he was to follow. Wow. I guess that's it. So, thanks for listening. Hit the like and subscribe button if you care to. If you liked the video, if you didn't like the video, sorry, maybe next time. So, you've been listening to Minute News. Thanks and goodbye.